My girlfriend said, "You're just a temporary chapter." I said, "Then I'll write the ending." Then I posted our breakup announcement with a twist. It included her photos with someone new. Her DMs were a war zone within hours. So, I'm 32. And I'm a planner. Or maybe I was a planner. I mean, I have spreadsheets for everything. Savings, vacations, household projects, you name it. I thought my life with Rachel, my girlfriend of 5 years, was a shared project, a partnership. But it turns out I was just the guy funding the early stages before a hostile takeover. It all fell apart last Tuesday. For months, something had been off. You know the feeling. The air in our apartment had just changed. It was full of these little things, these little details you try so hard to ignore. Her phone was permanently face down on the table. She'd get a text and her mouth would do this vague, tight little smile. "Just work stuff," she'd say. The nights out with the girls got more frequent, but she'd come home smelling of a men's cologne I didn't own. I kept telling myself I was being paranoid. I just didn't want to be that guy. The truth didn't come from some secret folder on a shared iPad. No, it was way dumber than that. Way more mundane. She'd been complaining her phone was running out of space. So, like a good boyfriend, I offered to help her back it up to my desktop. "It's got plenty of storage." I connected her phone. The import window pops up on the screen. It shows everything. Every photo, every video, all ready to be copied over. And there it was, right there in the sidebar, the hidden album. On an iPhone, it's not some high-security vault, it's just a separate folder. It's for hiding bad selfies, not a secret life. But there it was, and it was full. My hand started to shake. I felt this hot, sick feeling crawl right up my throat. I clicked it, and my world just fell apart. There she was, her and Jack, a guy I knew, a guy I'd had beers with. A guy she'd always called her harmless work husband. Photo after photo. There they were at a wine bar I introduced her to. There they were on a hike we were supposed to take last month. And then, the selfie. Her, wearing his college sweatshirt in what was obviously his apartment. She was looking at him with this expression of such unguarded affection, it made my stomach drop. It was a look I hadn't seen her give me in a very, very long time. I didn't feel calm. I felt nothing. Just this total roaring void. I disconnected her phone. I just sat there, staring at the wall. I don't know for how long. My heart was just hammering against my ribs. I'm a planner, and my entire 5-year plan had just been revealed as a complete fantasy. An hour later, she came home, dropped her keys in the bowl by the door. "Hey you, I'm starving. What should we do for dinner?" I couldn't even look at her. I just said, "I connected your phone to the computer." That was all it took. Her cheerful tone just vanished. I could literally watch her face cycle through a dozen calculations. What did he see? How much does he know? Which lie is going to work? "Oh," she said, her voice strained. "Did you get the pictures backed up?" "I saw the hidden album, Rachel." Silence. Absolute, deafening silence. She didn't deny it, didn't even try. The mask just dropped. And her expression wasn't guilt, it was profound annoyance. Like I had just created this massive, inconvenient mess for her. "Look," she sighed, running a hand through her hair, "it's complicated." "It doesn't seem complicated," I said, my voice flat. "It seems like you've been sleeping with Jack for months." And then she said it. The line that changed everything. She looked around our home, at the furniture we picked out, at the photos on the wall, at the life I thought we were building. "We grew apart," she said with a shrug. "It was fun, it really was, but you were never going to be my forever. You're just a temporary chapter." A chapter. Not a partner, not someone she loved. A temporary chapter. Something to be finished and put away. The void inside me started to fill up with something cold. Something hard. "A chapter," I repeated. The words felt like stones in my mouth. Yes, and now it's over. And that's when the idea sparked. It wasn't a plan, it was a reflex. Pure self-preservation. If I was just a story she was telling herself, then I was going to set the record straight for everyone else. "Okay," I said. My voice was shaking, but I didn't care. "If it's over, then people should know." My fingers felt clumsy, but I walked over to my laptop. I opened up social media, and I could feel her watching me. There was this little smirk on her face. She thought I was just being dramatic. I started typing. "To all our friends and family, Rachel and I have decided to end our 5-year relationship. We're both moving on to new chapters in our lives." Then I added the twist. She, in particular, has already started a compelling new story. So for clarity's sake, here are a few pictures from her new beginning. I wish them both the best. I attached 3 photos. Not the worst one, but the most damning. The wine bar shot, the hiking picture, the selfie at his apartment. I set the privacy to friends. About 250 people, her family, my family, our entire social circle. I hesitated for just a second, my finger hovering over the button. This was it, the point of no return. Then I heard her words again in my head. Temporary chapter. I clicked post. Her phone, sitting on the coffee table, buzzed. Then it buzzed again, and again. And then it just started vibrating continuously, a low, angry hum that sounded like a trapped hornet. That was Tuesday. We're still living in the same apartment, and the air in here is so thick with hatred you could choke on it. And I'm realizing, this is far from over. Update 1. The digital explosion was one thing. The real-life fallout was something else entirely. Around 2 a.m. that night, she burst into my room. Her face was a wreck, blotchy, swollen, her phone clutched in her hand like a weapon. "You have to take it down," she screamed. The screen was just a waterfall of notifications. "My mother is hysterical. My boss liked the post. Do you have any idea what you've done?" The old me would have caved. The old me would have apologized. But that guy was gone. "Don't talk to me about what I've done," I said, my voice low, steady. "Our friends, my family, they all saw it. This is the mess you made. I just posted the minutes from the meeting." She actually lunged for my laptop, but I moved it out of her reach. There was no real fight, just this pathetic, tense moment before she just crumpled to the floor, sobbing about how I was a monster, a vindictive psychopath. It was pure performance. The classic abuser's defense. When your actions are indefensible, you attack the character of the person who exposed you. I honestly thought she'd leave. I assumed she'd pack a bag and go straight to Jack's place. And she was gone the next morning. I felt this incredible wave of relief. It lasted until she walked back through the door that evening, dragging a suitcase. Her face was set in stone. Turns out the truth bomb hadn't just hit her. It had taken out Jack too. From what I pieced together later, Jack's long-term girlfriend, who he was also lying to, of course, was sent the post by a friend of a friend. The gossip mill had done its work with terrifying efficiency. So Jack's life was also imploding. He told Rachel he needed space. He kicked her out. She had nowhere else to go. This was the first major flaw in my revenge plan. I was now legally trapped with the person I hated most in the world. I immediately looked up our lease. My name is primary, hers is secondary. I thought that gave me power. It didn't. Tenancy law is crystal clear. I have to give her 30 days formal written notice to vacate. 30 days. I printed the form. I filled it out. I handed it to her. She laughed. It was a raw, bitter sound. 30 days? Fine. I'm going to make every single second a living hell for you. And she tried. She really did. She started her counteroffensive, telling friends I was emotionally unstable, that the photos were from ages ago, and that I was using them to punish her for wanting to leave. And she was good at it. A few of her friends sent me these sanctimonious texts about being the bigger person. I ignored them all, and I started, methodically, to sever our lives. I opened a new bank account, rerouted my pay, calculated her exact half of the bills for the final 30 days and sent her a request on a payment app, spreadsheet attached. I took her name off my credit cards. A few days later, she confronted me, holding her phone. My card was declined at the grocery store. "You just cut me off?" "Our finances are separate now," I said, not even looking up from my book. "We're not a couple, but I don't get paid for a week. What am I supposed to do?" I finally looked at her. "That's not my problem anymore, Rachel." The entitlement just evaporated from her face. It was replaced by a flicker of genuine fear. She had always relied on me as a safety net. The net was gone. We still have 28 days left in this apartment, and it feels like a lifetime. Update 2. The petty war of attrition was draining. Dirty dishes left in the sink, loud, pointed phone calls with her friends about how controlling I was being. It was just miserable. All the while, she was working overtime to win Jack back. After a week of silence, his car started showing up again in our visitor parking spot. First for an hour, then an evening, then overnight. My plan wasn't just about getting her out. It was about dismantling the false reality she was building. The one where she was the poor victim and I was the crazy ex. Her getting back with Jack, just continuing her new chapter like nothing happened. That felt like a failure. So I reread the lease. I was looking for leverage, and there it was, the guest policy. No guest for more than 14 nights in a month. This was it. This was my pro move. I started a log, documenting his car's arrival and departure times on my phone. I drafted a polite, professional email to our landlord, Jerry. I explained the situation, framed myself as the concerned tenant worried about liability, and attached my log. Jerry's response came 2 days later, and it was a masterpiece of landlord apathy. Hi, my name. Thank you for reaching out. Per the building's policy, disputes between tenants must be resolved between the tenants themselves. We do not get involved in personal matters. Please ensure rent is paid on time. I just felt this surge of frustration. Of course. Why would he do his job? My brilliant checkmate move had completely, utterly failed. I was back at square one. For a whole day, I just stewed in it. She was going to get away with it. Her and Jack would just ride out the 30 days, and she'd move straight from my place into his. They'd be laughing about the psycho ex while I was left cleaning up the mess. Then, I had another idea. The landlord wouldn't act, but the threat of legal and financial consequences, that might. I couldn't get her kicked out any faster, but I could make Jack's presence a direct liability for her. I spent $100 on a brief consultation with a legal aid lawyer just to get the wording right. Then I typed up a formal letter, printed 2 copies, one for her, one for my records. I didn't send it to the landlord. I didn't need him. I left it on her pillow. Subject: formal notice regarding lease violation and financial liability. Rachel, this letter serves as formal notice regarding a continued breach of our shared lease agreement for Unit 4B, specifically, Section 4, Paragraph C, the guest policy. As you know, our landlord has declined to intervene. However, as the primary leaseholder, I am legally and financially liable for any and all penalties resulting from lease violations. Your guest, Jack, has stayed overnight on, and I listed the exact dates from my log, which exceeds the 14-day limit. This is to inform you that should any fines or legal fees be assessed by building management due to this ongoing violation, I will hold you solely responsible for the full amount. I am documenting all instances, and I will pursue repayment from you through small claims court if necessary. Please consider this a final warning to rectify the situation. This was different. It wasn't emotional. It was cold, boring, and legal. It established a paper trail. It made it perfectly clear that if she continued, it could cost her actual money. I had turned her new boyfriend into a potential financial risk. I had no idea if it would work, but it was all I had left. Final update. The letter worked. Not in a big, explosive way. It was quiet, insidious. Rachel found it, and she didn't say a single word to me, but I could see the panic in her eyes. This wasn't a social media drama she could spin. This was a formal document that mentioned small claims court. She had to have a very awkward conversation with Jack. She couldn't just say, "My psycho ex is trying to get you kicked out." She had to say, "My ex, whose name is on the lease, sent me a legal notice saying if you keep staying here and we get fined, I'll have to pay for it." It just poked a hole right through her narrative. If I was the unhinged one, why was I using tenant law and formal notices? If their connection was so pure and romantic, why was it causing such a messy, potentially expensive problem? And Jack, who clearly had a very low tolerance for drama he didn't directly benefit from, started getting flaky. His car showed up less and less. The late-night pleading phone calls started up again, but this time, they just sounded desperate. The final 10 days in the apartment were eerily quiet. The fight had just gone out of her. She looked defeated, hollowed out. She packed her boxes in silence. She looked exactly like what she was, someone whose plans had all fallen through, leaving her with a pile of cardboard boxes and absolutely no destination. Her dad, Dennis, came on the last day to help her move. He's a good man, and he had the decency to look ashamed. He shook my hand, mumbled, "Sorry about all this," and they loaded up a small moving van. Rachel stood at the open door for a moment, just looking into the half-empty apartment. It echoed. "I hope you're happy," she said. Her voice was barely a whisper. I really thought about it. Happy? No. Vindicated a little, relieved immensely. But happiness wasn't on the menu. I'm not happy, Rachel, I said. I'm just done, the chapter's over. She just nodded, turned, and walked away. I shut the door, locked it, and I just leaned against it. The silence was deafening. It's been a month now, and winning, it isn't what you think it is. It's not a victory parade. It's quiet. It's cleaning out the refrigerator and finding a bottle of salad dressing she liked and just throwing it away. It's having some friendships feel permanently weird now. It's having to explain to my mom why the girl she treated like a daughter for 5 years is suddenly just gone. The apartment feels like mine again, but it's taken time. I'm not the planner I was. I learned you can have all the spreadsheets in the world, but you can't plan for people. You can only react. My reaction was cold, and it was methodical, and it worked. It revealed the truth, and it protected me. But it also revealed a part of myself I didn't know existed. A part that's capable of being very, very cold. I didn't get a storybook ending, I just got my life back. And for now, that's enough. I gotta write the ending.